The clock is ticking on the Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga, and right now Warriors players wondering what's going on. Only 9 players. Donnie, they couldn't even play 5-on-5 if they wanted to right now. The Golden State Warriors waiting to come to resolution with Jonathan Kuminga so they can sign other players, and training camp less than 2 weeks away now. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin, everybody. You know what I'm going to say. Subscribe to the channel, all of that. Donnie, the Warriors can't even play 5-on-5 right now, and training camp is in less than 2 weeks. Like, they've got to get this sorted out here quickly.
You got to give them a little bit of grace. I'm sure they've got like two-way guys and stuff like that, exhibit guys that they have. Right?
Okay, they could not play 5-on-5 with actual guys. They're putting in an NBA game on opening night. Let's put it that way.
Yes, no, I agree with you. Like I've said repeatedly, I think it's just it's actually pretty cool, really, that it's crazy, but it's cool that these guys have been comfortable waiting this long for this resolution, because in a lot of cases, guys are like, yeah, no, I'm going to go get the money, right? But I think that they all understood the assignment here and knew that this could be something that drug out for basically the entirety of the summer, as we're looking at here with the Jonathan Kuminga situation. So very cool. But I mean, they've got 9 guys rostered, but at some point that's going to balloon another 4 guys. So,
well, I mean, Steph is ready to go. Steph, look at Steph.
Look at him. He looks jacked, bro.
Steph is going to get, the NBA is going to pay Steph.
He's working out right now, though.
He is going to get a completely randomly assigned drug test. That is coming
like
for Steph Curry. Look at the veins in his arms.
No, I was going to say he's like mid-workout, so he's got a pump going right now. But nonetheless, he looks great. He does look great.
Look at him carrying around those 45s like they're nothing.
I mean, the most impressive thing is he's doing it with just like a couple fingers.
Exactly,
the strength there and all that stuff. So that's cool.
So here's the thing: like Steph is ready to go this season. Draymond, Jimmy Butler, they're all checking in. By the way, reportedly to see what's going on here with this team. They have to agree to a deal with Kuminga before they make any other signings. Right now, that's the way they have to do this, because what they don't want is to sign, say, Al Horford to the taxpayer mid-level, which is what he's reportedly going to get. And then there would be a limit in terms of how much they could actually give Jonathan Kuminga, because they would be hard capped at the second apron after signing Horford to that contract. And then what you would wind up with is the potential for a team like, say, the Nets to swoop in and offer Jonathan Kuminga a contract that the Golden State Warriors could not match without making other kinds of roster moves because of that hard cap. So they're all just sitting there waiting. But meanwhile, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, they're reportedly checking in, trying to find out what's going on. They've checked in with Jonathan Kuminga to see what's happening here as they need to fill out their roster. But Donnie, we're getting to the point here, again, less than 2 weeks from Warriors camp, which opens on October 1st, where the players have got to start getting a little bit antsy. Like, they don't have a team ready to play right now, and we're just a couple weeks from camp. They got to get this done. I know we're expecting resolution anytime now, but I'd have to imagine it's not only wearing on Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, Seth Curry, these other guys that still need to sign, that they're all waiting on, but this has got to be wearing on Jimmy Butler. Steph, like I said, Steph is ready to go. These guys know a championship season could be in the cards for them this year, but not without this Jonathan Kuminga situation resolved one way or another.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of an alternative take on that. I don't know that it's wearing on them at this point so much anymore, because the end is in sight. Like, this is going to be wrapped up at worst 13, 14 days from now, at the literal latest. But the end is in sight, so they know something is going to be happening here really soon. And if you're the free agent guys I was talking about earlier, again, the end is in sight. Maybe earlier you were antsy, but you've waited this long. What's another couple weeks to you at this point, I'd imagine. And for the other guys, I'm sure that they're trusting the process. They know this will get resolved. They know they're going to get Al Horford, these other guys that are waiting for the contracts. It's just more or less what is going on with Jonathan, and how long will that take from here, right? Will it be 3 days, 5 days, 8 days? Who knows? But I mean, the rest of the Jonathan thing is interesting because it doesn't really matter too much, assuming he's signed to a contract that allows them to get the guys on the roster this year. I mean, whatever happens to Jonathan after that doesn't really concern the current iteration of the roster, right? Like, they're just trying to get ready to go.
To a degree.
So, like, I'm sure they're not worried about Jonathan a couple years from now. Obviously, that's me saying nothing about whether or not they like him, all that stuff, but just
that's strictly the team.
Yeah. So, like, I think that they know who's going to be on this roster, right? They've agreed to these deals behind closed doors, on the table, blah blah blah. And I think they're not so worried about that. It's just, again, when will it happen?
Well, I mean, there's always the possibility that another team could swoop in. Right? At what point does, say, DeAnthony Melton say, I'm not waiting anymore. I can get a veteran
That's also
minimum
true.
over here,
That's also true.
and I'm
I
going
wonder
to
if
bounce.
Brogdon did that, right? Like, because Brogdon was kind of linked to that. He
Right?
was out there, but
And
that could
Malcolm
have been.
Brogdon took a camp deal with the Knicks.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy to me too. I think he's definitely just a flat out regular player for a roster.
That's shocking. It's totally shocking. And I do wonder if the Knicks maybe find a trade or something like that in order to allow them all to wind up staying with the team. But what's going to happen from here with the Golden State Warriors, I think, is going to be really, really interesting with the Kuminga situation. So let's dive into that in just a moment.
Ever heard of the Sleeper app? Well, here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper. But the app offers so much more. There's live stats, real-time updates, and visualization on all stats. There's a news feed where you can get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams. And a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA seasons. So download the #1 sports app and experience it yourself today. And when you do, use promo code Bulletin and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
All right. So the Warriors are in a situation where right now there's 9 players under contract. They very clearly are in a situation where they're trying to win right now. And I think they are a threat to make other moves. Maybe it's a sign and trade with Jonathan Kuminga. There was reporting out there that the Sacramento Kings believe that he wants to be a King and that ultimately he will land with Sacramento at some point. They think that he's going to be a good fit there if they can get him. Now, maybe it's a sign and trade this summer. There was some reporting that perhaps they could remove the protections on a first round pick, and that might get Jonathan Kuminga to Sacramento. So maybe he's not even a Warrior this year. He could wind up getting signed and traded. But one way or another, they've got to figure something out because this team, like I said, wants to contend for championships, and they're always going to be a threat to make big moves. I think another thing to keep an eye on is that there could be other names that wind up with them. They got linked recently to Isaac Bonga, who looked a former Laker, who looked really good in Eurobasket. But there was a situation where he's with Partizan right now, and he's actually not going to be available, even though Franz Wagner talked about him. They won the whole thing. They won Eurobasket with Germany. Franz Wagner said, I think he's shown over the past couple of years, he's an elite defender, shoots the three really well, and can make plays off the bounce too. So I think he could have a lot of NBA teams interested in him. And then he got brought up in this Sports Illustrated article on the Golden State Warriors as somebody they could potentially go after. But apparently his NBA exit clause has expired. So he's going to be with Partizan next year and won't be eligible to join the NBA unless he can find some way to get out of that contract. Doesn't seem like he'll be an option. But the point is that the Warriors would like to make these other moves, and there's still things that have to happen. And what you don't want is the Kuminga thing to happen literally last minute. Their training camp is in Hawaii. So it's possible that they go through day 1 or day 2 of training camp and don't have all of their guys there to install their plays or anything like that.
That's something we joked about, right? Like, hey, so are you still in town? You ready? Let's kick. You said it's in Hawaii. Are you on the plane right now? Great. We're going to get Kuminga signed right now. And so when you get here, we'll have the contract for you. Don't worry about getting situated. We'll have somebody do that for you. Just shoot straight to the gym. We need to get going. Like that is a crazy premise to me. I don't think that it gets that far. I don't think they let this drag until the literal last day. I think in this situation, because Kuminga's, he doesn't care about any of that. I think the Warriors are forced. They have to decide to either let him be on a 1-year deal. They didn't want to allow him to be on a 1-year balloon payment deal because they don't want him on a 1-year deal, period. Obviously, a qualifying offer would be another 1-year deal. They're going to have to either take the team option off or settle for potentially no option. There was a reporting that Kuminga basically, he wanted, if they were going to keep the team option, he wanted to be closer to $30 million annually because that's just kind of how much he valued that being on there. And if they were taking it off, he was okay with dipping closer to 20 million. So he's valuing that control.
That sounds
like
reasonable,
number,
Donnie.
right? Like to me, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And so like, I think that they can certainly like kind of meet in the middle on this. There have been some in the middle offers, but the Warriors have done things like, oh, instead of a 2-year deal, how about a 3-year deal? But there's a team option on the 3rd year, but you get the money, right? Because you're getting 25 million for the first 2 years, but there's still that 3rd year that's not guaranteed. So I think they're going to have to make a decision on whether or not they want to give him at least no option. I think he's probably okay with that too. And they need him on a big salary to trade him anyway. I think it just kind of works out, right?
Yeah, well, they need him on a big salary to trade him, but as long as that's a positive value, and that's the problem. That's where all of this gets wrapped up, right? It's the Warriors, like Jonathan Kuminga knows the Warriors aren't his long-term NBA home. He knows that that's not where he's going to truly flourish. So if he's going to stay there, he wants to get paid. And if not, he wants to go someplace where he can truly flourish. Mm-hmm. And the Warriors understand that they just don't want to lose him for nothing. Right? They don't even look at him and say, this is the guy that we want to build around long-term. They don't have that kind, not all the members of the Warriors decision-making staff anyway, has that belief in him. So for the Warriors, it's not so much about giving him a fair contract or showing that they're committed to him or anything like that, because they're not. And they all know that they're not. Kuminga understands that they're not. This is just about the Warriors don't want to lose him for nothing. That's it. Warriors don't want to lose him for nothing. And so this next contract, they're not worried about Kuminga getting what he's worth. They're worried about him getting a number that's tradable. And that's it. And that's the problem. You've got this disconnect between what Kuminga needs and wants and what the Warriors need and want. And right now they're just stuck together because of restricted free agency.
Absolutely. And the only other offers that they kind of had as trades were Monk, who I think would be nice, but I don't think they really need to add another defensive target to their team that they have to try to cover for, despite the fact that Malik, again, is a really good ball player. Maybe removing the protections would help with that, but I don't know that that's enough value back for them, because you would also have Malik on that deal, which you could argue whether or not you want to pay him for another 3 years or so.
3 years, yeah.
And then at a number that teams aren't really valuing that archetype for anyway for Malik as much anymore. We just talked about it a lot with Cam. And then secondly, the Suns were the only other team that were known to be interested in offer trades, but it was Royce O'Neal in second. So like there isn't really something here, but I do think you could get Kuminga on a deal that's reasonable and get to the mid-season point and trade him at that point, right? At the deadline or something like that, and try to get something there.
But he doesn't want to give up that no trade, because he wants to be able to say, hey, I'm already on a team where I'm not able to spread my wings. So if you're going to trade me someplace else that's not going to be a good fit for me, I want to be able to say no. And the Warriors don't want that. I think if the Warriors said, hey, we're going to trade you to Team X, and Jonathan Kuminga thinks it's a good fit for him, he will waive that no trade. He'll say yes.
He also will waive it for a certain amount of money. That was in there too. Like he'll take that off if you pay him to take it off.
If you pay him to take it off. Which I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
It is what it is, man. He said, if you want to have control, you got to pay me for it. So
exactly.
That was quite literally what it was. So it's all over the place, man.
You can't even look at this and say, well, they should have traded him at the trade deadline. They tried to. They tried to get Kevin Durant back, and it just didn't work out. KD
they should have
said
traded
no,
him
thank
a couple years ago, actually, is what it is. Maybe a year ago.
Maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
Man. Well, in any of it, we'll see if he ultimately winds up with the Sacramento Kings, whether it's this, I can't even say summer anymore. We're getting into fall now. Or if that happens, perhaps in the future, could that happen? Again, that Donnie is definitely something to file away here, regardless of what happens with this situation. If Kuminga is a Warrior this season or not, or what ends up happening, that the Kings have like real legit interest and they believe they are the landing spot that he wants to get to. File that away. Because if Kuminga's contract allows him to be a free agent next summer, we need to remember that, because I think Sacramento will be a team strongly in the mix, because they're the team that just keeps coming up as a landing spot for him.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure there's probably going to be other teams that could potentially be interested, but they, I think, are probably the strongest suitor for him. They really want him. He clearly wants to be there. And I think the big thing for him is going to a place where he would have opportunity. He wants to be a starting power forward for a team. Wants to get opportunity to show what he can do. He believes he's somebody that's got the potential to be a multi-time all-star. And so he needs to get out there and prove it. And obviously the Warriors, they're not going to put him in that position where he's featured enough to really do that. So hopefully, this all resolves soon. And if we get to that point, I would like to see him in Sac, because they need more guys like him to try to build around for the long term.
If they can get rid of DeRozan or something and bring in Kuminga, absolutely.
Maybe figure out something with Keegan as well. He kind of just keeps getting pushed down the list here somehow, some way. But
stop pushing. Just give the ball to Keegan a little bit more, please.
Maybe figure something out, man.
Yeah. Let's make that happen. But I will say this: like, if Jonathan Kuminga wants to be or feels like he is a multi-time All-Star, I can give one piece of advice. I can instantly skyrocket his opportunity to do just that. Go East. Go East. You have a much better shot of making it. Cooper Flagg's in the West now, man. In addition to everybody else, everybody's in the West. You want to make an All-Star team? Go East. That's your best bet.
You have like I don't know the actual number, but it's like probably a 5 times easier chance on the Eastern
I'm
Conference.
Sure it's significantly easier
It's
to
not
make the
even
All-Star team
close.
in the East. Nope, it is not. All right, everybody, give us your thoughts. What's going to happen here? Where will Jonathan Kuminga ultimately wind up? Again, the clock is ticking here. And are the Warriors, could they maybe lose some of these guys that they've been just keeping on the line, waiting for this Kuminga situation? Training camps are starting soon. Are we going to get to a point where some of these guys just say, forget it, I got to sign a contract, and they leave? And is that maybe what happened with Malcolm Brogdon? Give us your thoughts in the comment section down below. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.